rates, trade wars, markets up and down. What did you learn in the last month?
Not much, other than we have all this uncertainty. Some preceded the new administration, like we had large deficits, interest rates going up, inflation going up, and some are, tariffs and things. And of course, the geopolitical situation is very tense, very difficult, and hard to resolve.
Okay, so if you forget projections, numbers, what's your hunch? Is the U.S. going to go into recession or not?
Look, I'm going to defer to economists who give it about a 50% chance. I think all these things are probably inflationary a little bit more and slowing down the economy. If there's a recession, I don't know how big it'll be or how long it'll last. Hopefully we'll avoid it, but I wouldn't take it off the table at this point.
If you look at the trade war and then the somewhat reconciliation between the U.S. and China, does it hold?
I think it's the right thing to do is to back off of some of that stuff. To have an engaging conversation. I'm grateful they did the U.S.-UK deal. It's an agreement in principle, so, there's a lot of uncertainty still, and there's a lot of uncertainty still in the China thing, but at least we started. It obviously calms down the markets. That's not the reason to do it, but the markets, do vote or something like that, and so you'll still have uncertainty to resolve. There's 90-day triggers in a lot of these things, and hopefully they will be resolved. But they're complex. I don't expect immediate resolution, to the satisfaction of everybody in 90 days.
But you expect markets to settle from here because we have a little bit more of a blueprint, or could volatility pick back up at any second?
Markets are quite unpredictable. I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there that you can't discount. When war in Ukraine, terrorism in the Middle East, Iran. Huge deficits, our tax bill, which I would like to see a good tax bill pass. The tariffs, the reaction of countries to tariffs. The EU and the UK are about to negotiate, and I think they have a chance to actually develop a great relationship, partially making up for, the disaster that Brexit became. And those are uncertainties. You can't eliminate them because you want to.
But what are your biggest clients saying about this market volatility? Have they made money on the back of it?
Yeah, some do and some don't, and volatility could be good or bad depending on who's facing it. So, but I would expect continued volatility. I think it's a mistake to think we can go through all the things we're going through and the volatility itself will calm down.
Has it been good for JP